Rome was collapsing, not from outside invasion, but from chaos growing deep within its own borders, slowly weakening its foundations. Civil wars, corruption, and endless political rivalries had pushed the Republic to the very edge of destruction. The system that once made Rome powerful was now tearing it apart from the inside. In this moment of crisis, one man began to rise above all others, not by chance but by design. He was not born an emperor, but he carried something far more dangerous: controlled ambition. He was a general respected by his soldiers, feared by his enemies, and watched closely by the Senate. His name was Julius Caesar, a man who would first save the Republic and then transform it forever. Rome needed order, discipline, and strength, and Caesar seemed to offer all of it. But history hides a dangerous truth. The man who saves a system often gains the power to replace it. Caesar's journey began on the battlefield, where loyalty was earned through action, not promises. His campaigns in Gaul were relentless, calculated, and brutally effective. He did not just win battles, he dominated entire regions with unmatched speed and precision. His soldiers followed him not out of duty, but out of deep loyalty and trust. Because Caesar shared their hardships, fought beside them, and rewarded them generously. Victory after victory brought him fame, wealth, and influence beyond imagination. Rome celebrated him as a hero, a protector, a man who brought glory to the Republic. But within the Senate, admiration slowly turned into quiet fear. Because Caesar was becoming too powerful for a system built on balance. The Republic depended on shared authority, but Caesar was concentrating it in himself. His growing influence made him both necessary and dangerous at the same time. Senators began to question not what he had done, but what he might do next. They saw a man who commanded armies, loyalty, and the support of the people. And in Rome, that combination had always led to one thing: absolute power. Caesar understood the tension building around him. He knew that power in Rome was not just about strength, but about timing. When the Senate ordered him to step down and surrender his command, it was more than a command. It was a test of loyalty, and a warning of what would happen if he refused. Caesar made his decision knowing there would be no return. He chose defiance over obedience. And with that, he crossed the Rubicon River, an act that would echo through history. That single step transformed him from a defender of Rome into its greatest challenger. It was no longer politics, it was war. Civil war erupted, dividing Rome into factions, loyalties, and ambitions. Caesar moved with speed and precision, never allowing his enemies time to recover. His strategies were bold, his decisions decisive, his leadership unmatched. Pompey, once his ally, now stood as his greatest opponent. Their conflict was inevitable, a battle for the soul of Rome itself, and when it ended, Caesar stood victorious. His victory was not just military, it was symbolic. The Republic had been defeated by the very man who once defended it. When Caesar returned to Rome, he returned not as a servant, but as a ruler. The people welcomed him with celebration, relief, and admiration. To them, he had ended chaos and restored stability. But beneath that celebration, something fundamental had changed. The Republic still existed, but only in appearance. Real power now belonged to one man. Caesar was declared dictator, first temporarily, then for life. And in that moment, the balance of Rome was gone. Caesar began reshaping Rome with bold and calculated reforms. He reorganized governance, improved administration, and restored economic stability. To many, he was fixing what years of corruption had broken. But to others, he was quietly dismantling the Republic itself. The Senate lost its authority, becoming more symbolic than powerful. Decisions were no longer debated. They were delivered. Loyalty shifted away from institutions and toward Caesar himself. He became the center of power, influence, and control, a position no Roman was ever meant to hold, and that made him both admired and feared. His image appeared on coins, statues, and monuments across Rome. He was no longer just leading the Republic, he was becoming larger than it. This transformation created fear among those who believed in the old system, because once power becomes personal, it rarely returns to the people. A group of senators began to see him not as a savior but as a threat. They believed the Republic could only survive if Caesar was removed. But their solution required betrayal at the highest level. They planned in silence, hiding their intentions behind loyalty and respect. Every meeting, every word, every gesture was carefully calculated, and when the moment came, they acted. Inside the Senate, Caesar stood surrounded by men he trusted, men who had once supported him, now prepared to end him. Without warning, the attack began. Blades were drawn and chaos erupted in the heart of Rome. Caesar, the conqueror of nations, fell to his own allies. His death was sudden, brutal, and deeply symbolic. It was not just the end of a man, but the collapse of an era. The conspirators believed they had saved the Republic, but they had underestimated the consequences of their actions. Rome did not return to balance, it fell deeper into chaos. More wars followed, more blood was spilled, and more power struggles emerged. The system Caesar had broken could not be rebuilt. His death did not restore the Republic, it ensured its end. Because once power had been centralized, it could not be undone. Caesar's legacy became a contradiction. He had saved Rome from collapse, and yet he had destroyed the very system that defined it. His actions paved the way for emperors to rise. His adopted heir, Augustus, would complete what Caesar had begun. Rome would no longer be ruled by many but by one. His story is not just about ambition, it is about transformation at the highest level, the transformation of a general into a ruler, of a republic into an empire, of loyalty into absolute control. Caesar believed he was doing what Rome needed to survive. But history continues to ask a deeper question. Did he truly save Rome, or did he take it for himself? Because sometimes the greatest threat to a system is the one who understands it completely. The general who saved the empire became the man who reshaped it forever. If you found this story powerful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of power, betrayal, and the rise and fall of empires.